All right, guys, welcome to another week of Electrical Theology. I'm your host, Charles, and this week we're going to get into a little mental health, a little mental wealth, and a little mental spirituality. Or we can go with a little mental health, physical health, and spiritual health. Last week's video, a little introduction, I said I'd talk about health, and I really didn't. And I also made a couple of mistakes when I was looking at the coin market cap. I was using the word millions, but it is in the billions right now. So thank my subscribers for pointing that out to me, and I'll try to be more accurate in the future. So if you like what you're going to hear today, we'll touch a little bit on the cryptocurrency and our financial wealth and our financial health, as well as our mental health, physical health, and spiritual health. So stay tuned. Last week we talked a little bit about the coin market cap. We got into a little philosophy, and as I'm thinking about it right now, like I said last week, I'm going to try to do my best not to edit these. I just want to be raw and to the point. If it's an extreme bloopers, then I'll probably cut it out. But for the most part, if it's just a or a this or that or the phone rings, I may just leave it in there just to show you that we're real people. You know, that we are just like you, but what we're doing is choosing to bring out information that we're passionate about. And I'm passionate about the alternative, esoteric, metaphysical, paranormal, and all those type subjects. So this week, let's go ahead and get started on some of our topics. So let's really quick take a look at the coin market cap and see what it's doing today. We're not going to get deep into that. I'm going to have more episodes, or like I referred to last week, there's a bunch of people I watch that y'all can watch them. My nose is a little itchy this week. Fall has come into western North Carolina, and we also had the hurricanes last week, so it blew up a bunch of dust. And plus it turned a little cold, so you put the sweaters on that have a ton of dust on them, and next thing you know, so I may sneeze. I probably won't cut it out. All right, let's get back here to coin market cap really quick. Let me shrink this up. All right, so we did have a bit of a drop this weekend. Nothing too major. Music coin is a coin I'm looking into. It's the first blockchain that's going to be doing music. We can talk about that some other time, but I'm just keeping an eye because it's less than $1. So a lot of times if these projects are good, they have low circulating supply, I may throw $100 into that and see, and then just sit on it for a while and see what happens. But I'm going to wait till this 23% comes back down because it did moon a little bit. All right, so let's take a look at CoinMarketCap. We are up on the cryptocurrencies. We're looking at 2,079. That's up from the last time we talked. And we're looking at markets now at 14,604. And we're at 200. Let me refresh this really quick. Let's get back. And we are at $201 billion this week. We are looking for a good an uptick to the market, or it could be a downtick. It just depends. We are getting closer and closer to being squeezed up or squeezed down, so we'll keep an eye on that. But we can look at it most point. The BTC or Bitcoin Diamonds is 54. And again, we'll talk more on that. If you'd like to have more episodes on cryptocurrency, I'm not the expert at it. There are a lot of great guys out there already talking about it. But if you like the way I present it, then go ahead and comment down below, hit the like button, and let me know what you like or what you'd like to hear more about. All right, so that being said, let's get back to our health, wealth, and love. But in this case, today we're going to be talking about health. And we can talk about health in the mental health, the physical health, and the spiritual health. So sort of right off the bat, I'm going to just touch briefly on what mental health is. Mental health is that from a psychological standpoint, you're balanced or in a homeostasis where no extremes really exist, and you're not too depressed, you're not labeled with some manic depression or bipolarism or any of the other labels that world likes to stick on to you. But for the most part, when I'm talking about the alternative side of health and mental health, it has to do about how well are you with you? How well are you with yourself? Do you build yourself up? Do you empower yourself? Do you constantly seek the beauty in life? Or do you focus on the ugly and the negative and the dispassionate side of life? Because life is just life. A tree is just a tree. A gun is just a gun. They're objects, they're things, if you will. And it depends on your perspective of if that thing becomes good or bad. And so what we want to do is sort of eliminate the bipolarism, if you will, of good or bad. We want to sort of get into understanding, or at least for the sake of this conversation, is that there really is no good or bad. If your perception is a bad perception, then it's your perception. And if you're labeling it bad, then it's yours. Now, if something's good, then that's your perception that it's good based upon what you consider to be good. And so that being said, all humans individually have their own unique perspective of what good and bad is in the world. Some people will agree that something is good and some will agree that it's bad. So we're not looking at to see whose bad is right and whose wrong is right, or whose wrong is wrong, however that's to be said. We just want to look, what is yours? Mental health, and the way I present it, is about you. How are you with you? And are you constantly trying to seek approval from others? Are you trying to get others to impress you? Are we trying to get others to live according to our rules? Are we judging others to be right or wrong? And we want to stay focused on what feels right, not philosophically what's right or wrong in our societies, but to you, the internal you, the compassionate you, what feels right to you. And you are the only judge of that. If it feels right and it harms none, then do it. If it feels wrong and it will harm others, then that's your choice not to do it. But for the most part, we just want to make sure that you understand that there are many religions and many philosophies that say, hey, this is the way, this is the right way. The only way out there is your way. And we have 7.8 billion people on the planet that says their way is right. It's not about a right or wrong, it's a pathway. Is the electrical pathway from your head to your heart to your stomach and to the universe harmonious? Is it harmonic? Is it in discord? Is it disharmonic? These can only be answered by you, for you. What other people think is irrelevant, it's what you think about you and your perception of the world. That's the only perception that is right for you. And we can get into this a little deeper if y'all want, and because all these topics I teach are extremely deep, and they're 2 to 4 hour classes and seminars. So what basically I'm doing is just throwing a lot of this in a blanket statement, so don't look at this stuff as right or wrong, good or bad, against a religion or for a religion. It is none of the binary codes in that sense. What I want you to understand is that there is only one frequency to you. That's your soul's frequency. And that is what is like a guitar string. If it's plucked and it harmonizes with the other things around it, then it's in tune, right? And if it's not, and it's disharmonic, that doesn't make it bad, it just gives it a different frequency. But your frequency is your frequency, and it cannot be compared or judged to anyone else's on this planet. So there's nothing to, like I've said in other videos, to attain by amounts of work, right? If you're doing your work for you and understanding that, and that's not selfishness, it's selflessness, because if you can't help yourself or you cannot love yourself, then you cannot love others, plain and simple. And you can go through the acts that you're loving someone, but really you're doing a disservice to them because you're doing a disservice to yourself because you're not loving yourself, therefore you can't love them. That being said, understand that in the divinity of the universe, there is one frequency, and we are all extensions of that frequency. There's one piano, but there are 88 keys, or 66, depending on what kind of piano you have. We can work in harmony or we can work in discord. But for the most part, you need to understand that what resonates with you is about you. And what you think and the thoughts you have, if they harmonize with who you are, then that's who you are. If a thought does not resonate with you, then change that thought. Educate yourself. Be with that thought. Feel that thought in your body's consciousness, your mind's consciousness, and your spirit's consciousness. So that being said, as long as you're doing your work, you have to understand that you are always love. You are always loved because you are love. You cannot not be love. You will always be loved because that is the expression of that. And that I'm spelling with all caps. That is the pre-consciousness. It is the pre-God. It is the pre-sentiency of intelligence. We cannot really talk about it because if we do, then it is not that. But when we can talk about it, it becomes this. And this world is what you and I exist in. We are a thought process of that. And that is, therefore, everything that this is. Every cell in your body contains electricity. And that electricity is that. That is what powers us. It is what empowers us. And it is what continually vibrates through us. And your thoughts can align with it as an individuated expression of that in this world. But as long as you understand one thing, that you are that, and that is love. Now, if you don't like the word love because it's misconstrued or can be given a million definitions, let's sort of look at the word love as amplification, right? Amplified ions, right? The amplification is the expression of that in this world. Now, I know this may sound a little confusing, but it's extremely simple. We have been taught to overthink. We've been taught to think others' thoughts. But when you get back to understanding who you are and loving you and understanding that you are love, then that is all there is, if that makes sense. So that being said, you are all amplification of that. And the expression of amplification, therefore, then is joy or enjoyment. So enjoy your life. Take this week and really be with yourself and be with your feelings. Don't try to overanalyze them. Don't try to be suffocated by them, but feel them and love yourself and know that you are love already. So just express that love and amplify through the tough times. And with that being said, I look forward to seeing you next week. So just remember to go ahead and click on the like buttons, and if you want to continue receiving these, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification or the bell, or however people do that. All right, look forward to seeing you next time.